I said, "Sod it," and come off and went on my iPad.
Morning, afternoon, evening, hello, and yeah, sorry I wasn't here last week, right? Go on, play it. Still to this day, one of my favourite tracks. Right, I've got to share this out. Ghostbusters! Evening. As you can probably tell, Wayne's been to see it, and I went today to go and watch it with my gorgeous other half, and absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, I really do like the new Ghostbusters film. You've seen it?
Have I yet? No.
No? Are you going to see it?
Eventually. It's hard with a toddler.
In that case, I won't spoil it. We were going to talk about it, and if you haven't seen it, so that's just kind of fucked all that up now. So,
At least tell me there's a good memorial of Egon in it, because it's like all I'm really caring for.
I love the first one where he appeared at the end. I like to see his granddaughter and his daughter in that, but
Nothing.
Nothing.
The only mention to him is at the end when the credits are rolling, and you have the original story written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. That's the only reference to him really they've put in that this time.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the little girl, the kid who plays his granddaughter's good and doesn't have to look like him, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think that's just I think clever actor searching. You know, they've looked through the profiles of people that would sort of fall in that category and would have the nearest look that they would be looking for, and then they've obviously put a script call out, haven't they, for people to audition.
Definitely.
They sure had enough time to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been what?
Came on when I was
80 something, wasn't it? 84.
Yeah.
Hi, Leslie. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? 84. I'll tell you what, though, it's like looking at the difference between Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, like with the aging. Dan Aykroyd's a ufologist anyway, and he knows his shit. But Bill Murray, I was looking at both of them, and he looks a hell of a lot older, and I didn't realise there was that big an age gap between them.
Right. I mean, and as well, Dan Aykroyd, he's quite a heavyweight now, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd love to have him on the show one day. Fucking hell. Love to pick his brains. Like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So,
I'll message him later.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
So, yes.
He owns that Crystal Skull vodka. I don't know if that's a thing by you guys.
Crystal Skull vodka?
Yeah, and it has to do with the crystal skulls. They come in a crystal skull, and it's vodka. It's really good. But yeah, it's Dan Aykroyd's company, and he uses that to like finance his UFO research.
Oh, I never knew that. No, that's it. Get out of there. Ghost Binger Herbert.
If you ever have a chance, try it out. It's delicious.
I have to be careful because it brings out when I drink shots, it brings out the Irish in me, and I turn into a twat. So I try not to.
It's a little bit of a hefty price for the bottle too, because it comes in a glass skull.
How much?
It's like,
yeah.
I think back when I was in high school, it was like $100. So I imagine it's probably like $120, $130 now.
Bloody hell, that is expensive. I suppose it's got to be worth it though. Just to turn around and say, I'm drinking some with Dan Aykroyd's vodka. I'm just going to clean my camera a minute for just.
Oh, I didn't even know at the time. It was just like, oh, that's a skull. I gotta have it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the kid, was it Taylor? Yeah, Taylor and Herod Rush haven't got me one Christmas. I've got it's a decanter, you know, so put your alcohol in. It's a Stormtrooper helmet, but it's crystal.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I've got this. Hang on, I'll show you. It's there. Right, go shift your ass. Move. Move. Oh, I didn't realise it was in here. A bit dusty. Hold up.
Oh, the actual bottles of the vodka were actually designed by Dan Aykroyd himself and John Alexander.
I like
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah, they're really cool. There's all sorts of different ones too. Smoothest vodka I've ever had.
Really?
You know, let's start
Really?
on. Right, they do 4 types. They do Aurora.
That's cool.
They do Original, which is in a normal clear bottle.
Hmm.
Then they do one called Onyx, which would be my favourite.
Oh, yeah.
That's the newer one.
And then just Crystal Head vodka.
No, come over here. Oh, bloody hell. That's Dia de Muerto, isn't it? That's a Chris Sugar Skull almost. Good.
Yeah, creativity is at the heart of everything we do. It is why we craft the purest, smoothest vodka with one-of-a-kind packaging and imaginative thinking. Crystal Head uses only highest quality ingredients to create unique expressions of ultra-premium vodka that are completely additive-free.
Right, so hi, Nigel. I better get the hellos out of the way. Hi, Nigel. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Alison. Lynn. Dan. Everybody else who's watching. Hello. So, yeah, I see you guys had fun last week.
Yep.
Yeah, everything.
Show's still here. Didn't ruin it.
We're back with more neck than a giraffe, so it's got to be done. No, you definitely didn't ruin it. One night you've got to do a show all about the weird and wonderful cryptos in your state.
Yes.
So I think that'll be a good one. If we'll
Gotta
just
do
sit
it with
back.
Eric.
We'll just sit back and listen, and you can don everything and with your microphone and stuff. In my state where I live, we have big
Have Eric on also.
these big hairy men are called bears. But yeah,
and we could have a song that go with that. The Poddington Peas, down at the bottom of the garden.
God, I used to watch that when the kids were little. I used to watch that with them. Poddington Bees.
Evening, Dan.
Hey, mate. So yeah, what are we going to talk about tonight then? Go on, Wayne. Apart from Ghostbusters.
Do you know what? I think it's just Monday Madness, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been keeping up.
Start of the week and just go off on one and just be really weird, just to keep everybody's energies going after the weekend.
Yeah. One thing I will say, thank you to everybody who's been sending me those messages. Thank you. Very quickly. Although I've got cancer back, I'm having a minor thing. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. I'm not going to drop down dead or anything. That's it. But thank you for the messages. It's been really cool. So anyway, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, you were talking about UFC and stuff like that. I've missed that ref decking that bloke. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. I'll have to find that video for you.
And Jake Paul Tyson. Tyson's going to win. Have you been watching him train? I've been watching him train. I've been watching Jake Paul train. It's like, I can't stand Jake Paul anyway. I think he's a wanker.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if he just bit off his ear? Just came straight in and just bit off his ear.
Comes back for dessert.
Yeah. That would be funny. That would be funny as hell. That. But I Paul.
Welcome to
Right,
boxing.
that would be really. What's that?
One of my children.
Ah, right. I didn't know if that was a horror
dude.
movie or something.
Oh, every day is.
One thing I've been noticing is all the with the US bombardment and the whistleblowing and everything that's been going on. I've noticed that. Do you remember we said that eventually they'd start poo-pooing and naysaying all the whistleblowers and trying to make them out to be fakes and this, that, and the other? Have you noticed that started?
When does it stop?
Yeah. But
I mean, that's what I was saying the other day, wasn't it? Was that, you know, again, for every sort of legitimate video that's out there, there'll be thousands of illegitimate videos and fake videos go out there just to flood what you're trying to view. So you never know what one's the real one and what one isn't, because you're not going to want to spend so much time trying to trawl through it all. But I have just found an interesting article from the 8th of March that says US says UFO sightings likely secret military tests. The Pentagon has got themselves involved. And they reckon that a spike of UFO sightings in the 50s and 60s was caused by tests of advanced US spy planes and space technology, a Pentagon report has concluded. So after all this time, they've finally concluded. So it's taken them all this time to go, right, what we need to do is we need to tweak this a little bit, tweak that a little bit, and try and get their minds around this way instead of that way.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Officials also said there was no evidence that the US government had encountered alien life. Most sightings of UFOs were ordinary objects from Earth, according to the report submitted to Congress on Friday. But Pentagon officials accepted that their research won't quell popular beliefs about alien visitors.
You can go, Josh. You can go, Josh, because I'll just be on a rant saying what a complete load of bollocks. You go.
They didn't find anything because they paid Lockheed Martin to do it for them.
And it's gone to work. Yes.
They are blaming the proliferation of television programs, books, movies, and vast amount of internet and social media content centered on UAP-related topics most likely has influenced the public conversation on this topic and reinforced these beliefs within some sections of the population.
Right, and they expect the whole world to turn around and go, oh.
Yeah.
They tried this before.
7 months ago, we're shooting them out of our skies.
They're idiots. They're absolute arseholes. I'm sorry, but they are. They did it before, and then people went, no, enough's enough. Stop lying. And they've gone, oh, all right. Well, it could be this, and it could be that, and it could be this. And now they're going, it was hard technology.
I mean, to be honest, this report, I reckon, must have been done by Joe Biden.
Is the handwriting really shaky?
Well, no. I mean, it's just full of shit, isn't it?
It's bollocks, isn't it? It's complete and utter bollocks.
Did he talk about his hairy legs in that explanation?
The thing is, like, when you look at the Roswell incident itself, they first said an unidentified flying object. It was the first time a flying saucer was used. And then it went out in the newspapers that it was a flying saucer that was found.
Yeah.
Unknown materials. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that disappeared and a news story came out.
That's right.
So just going by that, how could anybody trust what they're saying after that report got changed?
Yeah, exactly.
At one point in Roswell, at that night, a bunch of generals sat together and were like, fuck, we already lied. We'll just do it for the next 70 years. We'll just keep lying and lying and lying and lying. America's stupid. They won't know.
That's what they've done. They've sort of they've just basically tried. They've just basically tried time and time again to try and blindside us on a mass scale rather than just individuals turning up at your front door and saying you won't talk about this. They've just done it on a mass scale because of social media. They've got the ability to do it now on a bigger scale. But it's not going to work because those that look into it or those that were around at the time are going to turn around and say, but that's not what happened. It was a flying saucer, unknown materials. And then all of a sudden you changed it.
I've literally got one thing to say to all of this. And actually, no, fuck that. I've got a lot of things to say about this. American government and the British government, because the British government are just as bad, and they're both up each other's backsides all the time. Turning around and saying that it's this and it's that and it's our technology, in my arse. It's too late. It's far too late now. I mean, how stupid you got to be to turn around and go, well, actually, yeah, we have been in contact with them. Actually, yeah, it is this. We can't say too much about it, but yeah, we may have been hoodwinking you. And then to turn around and completely backtrack and say, no, we never said any of that. No, it was our own technology. We haven't got mug written across here. Enough's enough.
Yeah, and I think that's basically all they've done is trying to cover their own backs, haven't they?
Well,
And it's not working.
They can't now.
They can't.
TikTok
There's no way they can.
There's a video I wanted to, well, a bunch of videos. I even have one coming out about it that kind of ties into this subject. Is everybody? There's a lot of people really worked up about the eclipse in a few days. You guys see any of that? A lot of people think it's going to be when our government smacks us with Project Bluebeam.
Very possibly.
I mean, the local news channels are saying that the National Guard are going to be deployed during the eclipse. This never happened
That's
before.
right. Why?
Texas is telling people to stock up on water and 3 months worth of food.
Yes, I saw that one. Yeah, and again, lots of people from all around the world were jumping on, going, "Why? Why would you have the National Guardsmen, which is like I'm the TA, same thing? Why would you have like people like us going around and what? Just why? It's a fucking solar. It's an eclipse. Why would you have guardsmen out doing that? Why would you say get food and water for 3 months? No. 2 years ago, we said about Project Bluebeam. Do you remember all that when we were talking about Project Bluebeam before?
Yeah.
Both, all of us were. And then and we said it's going to happen. And just put it on hold for a little bit and maybe forget about it. We haven't.
Thing was, the last total eclipse we had here, I was working as a draft proofer and loft insulator that day, and we all went outside and we actually watched the eclipse. And I don't know if you can remember, Mark. They had the Sun newspaper. They were giving out free glasses and a way to do the little box,
That's right.
so you could watch it. No one ever turned around to us and said stock up on water and toilet roll and food and stuff.
No.
You know, so something ain't right there.
No.
And why tell people in Texas? Could it be because that's where all the problems have been lately?
Well, look at the Mexicans coming across the border, and they were there with their guns.
Oh, it's not even the Mexicans, it's the Chinese and the Hondurans, and
it's anybody that can get through.
There's something going on.
A lot of people are saying that prophet is right. I don't remember his name, Charles something. Could be wrong about the first name, but about the Great Lakes basically filling up and like the country splitting, and Texas and California sinking.
I'm sure Edgar Cayce said something about this happening as well.
That's who I'm referring to. Edgar Cayce.
Edgar Cayce. Yeah. Because all this stuff is coming to fruition, especially the whether I don't know if you're going to have a civil war kickoff over there. I don't know, but that's supposed to happen, isn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. If Biden won again.
This is I guarantee it will. If that happens, it will. People have already said that. Look how it is in Texas. You don't hear nothing on the news about Texas anymore.
No.
Wonder what that's about.
But you can guarantee the shit will hit the fan if Biden wins another term in office.
Oh yeah,
big time.
I'm just looking at the comments in the chat room. Let me put a couple of them up here because I like it when you guys join in. Fire all your questions at us. Everything. Could it be something behind the sun that may become visible at the eclipse?
That's
a very good question.
I like that one because there was the theory that Nibiru was rotating around and coming into our solar system and floating around the sun, wasn't it?
Scooby-Doo, Nibiru, Scooby-Doo,
Nibiru. So, could it be that? And that obviously we know that's supposed to be the home of none other than
the Anunnaki. Nibiru was supposed to have been seen, wasn't it? Right on the edge of our universe about 3 years ago. NASA said there was something big, but they didn't know what it was, and it was moving towards us. So, but not NASA, never a straight answer. They're just as bad. The government says, say this, and they go, okay. So
they're part of the government.
what it needs, what it really needs is like we said before, we were supposed to be the tinfoil hat brigade, and nobody listens to us. You know, they're mad. And now all of this stuff starting to come out. All the rest of the governments around the world went, actually, yeah, they are here. We've been in contact with them. This is what we know. And it was only like the US government and our government who went, well, possibly, maybe. Oh, let's put some UFOs out that we're going to shoot down. Make some quickly out of Lego and a bit of helium. Stick it out there, and we'll shoot them down. And then that all happened, and then both the government. Well,
Greg, you couldn't sell that Airstream. We'll just blow it up and call it a UFO, anyways.
Yeah. And
go anywhere on Facebook Marketplace. We'll just blow it up.
The caravan, yeah. And then both our governments were, well, actually, yeah, we may have been talking to them. We may have they may be here. We may know all about them. There may be UFOs, and now they go, nah, mate. Well,
exactly.
Gotta have a beer.
Why come out with a statement saying, well, you know, that's not ours, but we don't think it's from Earth, and then all of a sudden come out with something like that? They've just completely backtracked on what they were saying.
My government thought their planet had oil.
I tell you what, every time I have a fry up down to greasy spoons, if it's too greasy, I get a bunch of fucking USAF special forces coming and go, trying to invade my plate, and I keep saying to them, no, fuck off, get your own chips. But yeah, this is, I don't know who said that. That is Lynn. I don't know if you remember, Lynn, if you've been following the show a couple of years ago, when you started coming on, wasn't it? As a guest and that, we all said there's something coming, there's something big coming, keep an eye out. Last year, we said this year and 2027 are the 2 years to watch out for. There is something coming. And we've said it for so long, and everybody else, you've said it, everybody else in the Paranormal Network who's been doing this stuff and knows their onions has been saying it. And it doesn't take rocket science. It's got too far. We know the Bobbermans listen to us because they very often come along and stop all our comments and everything like that. If you're listening, we're not daft. The whole of the population, we're not stupid. We know it's coming. We know what's been going on. Don't try and change the narrative to fit you when it's too late. It's too late. We all know what's going on. You know, just try, for once in your lives, be honest. The last honest one in Parliament over here was Guy Fawkes, but you know,
it's like Lynn said. You know, Lynn Murphy had said, "It's no good shutting the stable door after the horse has already bolted." Yeah. You know, it's too late to backtrack on everything that has been said or witnessed, and then all of a sudden go, "No."
You guys, when you log on, you can log in on here, and it will see your names. But when you don't log on, we just see it as Facebook user. That was Tony. Forgive me if I don't pronounce it right. Tony Detien.
Yeah.
Tony, what's up, buddy? It's actually one of my good friends. We're just gonna raid Tony. That's the plan. Raid.
If shit kicks off, I'm coming over to the States with my missus, the kids, the animals, everything, because you got guns. You can have guns over there. So we're coming over there. We're going to hide in a cave somewhere.
There is a slight issue. There is a slight issue there, Mark. If it all does kick off, the first thing that will be used is an EMP. You won't get over there. Not unless you go and buy a rowboat.
Steam-powered engines again.
Well, with any luck, Titanic 2 would have been built by then.
I don't think I'd go on Titanic 2 somehow. Wouldn't it be funny if you ever like going to make us into them? Well, the New World Order is another thing that's supposed to be coming.
Right.
There you go. What's our views on Nibiru? Or Scooby-Doo? Nibiru?
Like we just said about 5 minutes ago, that is supposed to be the home of the Anunnaki. And I don't know whether you managed to watch all that 6 hours of that documentary, Mark.
Not all.
It was a lot. I had seen another shortened version, and I was quite, obviously we'd been talking about it. and there wasn't much reference to Nibiru, but they did actually sort of focus on the fact that that's where the Anunnaki originated from. But
Yeah, that's
what
the home planet.
what I was surprised at was all the links that they come up with. It was the Anunnaki that warned about the great floods.
The Watchers.
Yeah, all the
Enki and
shining
Enlil had
ones,
a scrap, didn't they?
all the
There's
shining
Enki and
ones, and
Enlil.
they're actually mentioned in the Bible. So and we've been saying it for
Archons
ages,
and-
that when you piece everything together and you look at all these different manuscripts, from the Christian Bible to Islam, Buddhist, it doesn't matter what it is. There is some form of cataclysm there, which is all in reference, and they all match together on the same timeline, and they were all warned by the Shining Ones or
even
whatever
paganism.
religion's variant, and that is where the Anunnaki come in.
And
So
Enki
it's there all along and under our faces, but it's the powers that be don't want you knowing that that's what it was. And that's why there's so many bits of the Bible missing.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. I can never remember which was the good one. It's either Enki or Enlil. One was good, one was bad.
Enki.
One wanted us to
Enki is
prosper.
the evil one.
Right.
Yeah.
Enlil wanted us to prosper, and he warned their version of Noah, like this was going to happen. Fuck's sake, build a boat.
Fact too, Lil is supposed to be Thoth.
That's right. Yes,
And in
yes.
Greek, he's Hermes.
Yeah, and Thoth was the what was the
Was the ice monster in Empire Strikes Back, wasn't it?
No,
That was
that's
Thoth,
Thoth.
the
That's
planet
the planet. You're
but
thinking
yeah,
of Wampa.
yeah, the Wampa beast. Yeah, yes.
And that
the
was
Wampa
just a
beast.
glorified Yeti.
Well, personally, I think the Wampa beast is one of my daughters when they're pissed off. But
Here's another thing, though. Why are Wampas like unintelligent, but Wookiees aren't?
Oh, I meant to tell you, I was flicking. Hang on, we'll get back to it. I was flicking through TikTok, and I saw somebody turn. It was I can't remember the guy's name, and I normally got a lot of respect for him. Black fella. He knows all his stuff. Really knows. I can't remember his name. Black guy. What's his name? He's American. Really, really knows his what he's on about. Very famous. Shit. What's his name? I can see him.
He
Can't
talks
remember
about
his
the
name.
Anunnaki a lot. I think I know who you're talking about. He's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Gaia.
Well,
Charles
he
something. I think. Charles?
Billy Carson. Thank you.
Billy Carson.
Thank you, Lynn. Hiya, Viv. And happy belated happy birthday, Viv. I did say happy birthday to you and everything, but you never even messaged back. So, too drunk. She was on the floor going, but yeah, Billy Carson. I've normally got a hell of a lot of respect for him, and what he comes out with ties in with everything we've said. But I heard him saying something the other day about the Anunnaki invented the Jedi, and I went, what?
Yep.
And even I went, no. George Lucas invented the Jedi. No. Maybe there's a lightsaber out there. Maybe that's real. Maybe it was used for making holes in rock. I don't fucking know.
I think what the point may have been was the fact that the theoretical side of the Force could be in relation to the Anunnaki.
Well, when you listen to him,
It's not even that. What I was gathering from it, it's the followers of Thoth, like the enlightened ones, which is actually the same concept as the Force too,
Well, he says he was the last Atlantean, didn't he?
Yeah.
Thoth Atlantean, and he was the
up
god of
in
invention and
pops
stuff.
up in every religion, kind of, which is creepy too. Thoth. North, I'd say he'd probably be Tyr.
George Lucas is God. You're right, Viv. He is. I think Thoth was real. I think personally Atlantis was real because there's been so many things found with all the like Lemuria and Mu and all that sort of stuff. That they think there was megacities, not lots, but there was megacities all around the world that were run by different parts of the Anunnaki, and they were all linked. and then when one went bang, the others went and stopped. So, what do you make of it?
I actually did an interview recently with a gentleman. Well, when it airs, you know how it goes with me putting on my videos. He actually claimed that Atlantis was the first Earth, like before we like lost all of our knowledge. There was a bunch of different beings with the Anunnaki.
Oh shit, hang on. Let's
Before that, there was a nuclear cataclysm. That's what Earth was called, was Atlantis.
What, the actual planet itself was Atlantis?
Yes. And that's what refers to the fall of Atlantis, is when they bombed themselves back to the Stone Age.
Well, I do think there were people before us. I think, because again, I know this before, there's so much evidence to point that we're not the first civilization. We're not the first intelligent, well, if you call us intelligent civilization. Many way in advance of us for millions of years. You know, it's not as our history is dictated. So much stuff's coming out of the woodwork that points to people thousands of years before we were even an itch in our daddy's pants. You know, so I do think somebody was here. I do think our DNA was altered. For whatever reasons, I don't know, but they took the native species, altered the DNA, put a bit of their DNA. I mean, even who was the one who had the first human hybrid? The Anunnaki, her name, because she's an Egyptian goddess as well. She says she went full term with the first human, and she made him in her tummy and went full term, gave birth to him, and that was
it Isis?
I can't remember, but it was the first human, and it was made with their DNA, and lots of fannying around and altering about, and then eventually down the line they went, do you know what? They live far too long. They're far too clever. Let's cap their DNA so they don't live too long.
Yeah, I saw that one too. That video.
And you know, scientists have said that we have had our DNA altered. And it happened thousands of years ago, but you can see in our DNA twists where our DNA was genetically altered, and they have no answers for it. It's happened, it's real, they've got the proof, but they have no answers as to how. And the only thing that's ever come out is when you look at all the old scrolls and the legends and the Sumerian texts and all that sort of stuff, and it says in there.
It is creepy that gold is the main currency of everywhere.
Every single religious book talks about it all. Even the bloody what's Mahabharata, that tells you how to build a UFO. They call them Vimanas. There was Vimanas and Vimanas, I think it was, and it was they tell you how to build a Vimana, and that it runs
a
off
lot of fixing people too is in that too, which is strange. A lot of surgeries.
Sorry, I'm studying.
What are you studying?
No, I've just been looking at the different things there. That Thoth was also an Egyptian god.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah, he was
in Greek.
Who had the head of the ibis.
Yeah.
But he was responsible. Oh God, hang on, see if I can get it back up again.
What are you on about, Viv?
It was the Egyptian god of writing, wisdom, and magic. He was associated with order and justice, and was an advisor and mediator to the gods. Patron of the scribes, his female counterpart was Seshat, goddess of writing and keeper of books. Thoth created language, and Seshat gave his words to the people. But then it goes on to who is Thoth in Greece, because obviously the Greeks had a different religion basis to the Egyptians, and Hermes was their version of Thoth, and he was the messenger of the gods.
I honestly go as far too. I was saying in Norse mythology, I think he's Tyr.
Oh, blimey, where have I gone there?
What's the Norse god of fear?
No, Tyr, the one that lost his arm to the great wolf Fenris. He was the god of justice.
I know. Yeah. I know who you mean. Yeah. I still think the gods were all the same. all the different religions, all the different cultures. I think that their gods were the same Parthenon of gods. They were the same people from out there, the Anunnaki, but they appeared to each culture as something that culture would recognize. But it was the same
Like in
people.
Stargate.
Do you reckon that's real? Just got to let smelly dog out the door. She's farted, and I'm trying not to vomit. Jesus Christ, dog.
Well, apparently in January the 13th, there was an article saying the Book of Thoth was found under the Nile.
Really?
The Book of Thoth or the Emerald Tablets?
No, the Book of Thoth. Scientists finally uncovered the Book of Thoth under the Nile in Egypt that revealed this knowledge. And apparently there is a YouTube video about it.
Talking of that, what do you make of the Euphrates going down and those caves being found from thousands of years ago where these noises have been coming from?
Probably not a good sign.
It's not. No.
Pile that
I think-
onto another thing this year.
I think a lot of that is again, like we say, with the thought process behind trying to blindside everybody else into their way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, it's very easy nowadays with the advent of AI technology and all these videos that you can create and pictures to sit there, record something like, oh, look, there's a cave entrance that's just been come up because the tide's gone down, and let's stick a strange sound coming from within over the top of the video and make out that there's a monster in there.
Yeah. I actually seen one that said 3 men died this past weekend off our coast in Green Bay, and that the Coast Guard lost an agent. And I was like, none of this happened. Literally none of this happened. This isn't even Lake Michigan that you're showing right now.
So it was like the bollocks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, as well, is there are, I can't remember where it was now. It was somewhere in the Middle East where they were all standing there going, oh my God, we're getting flooded out. But it turns out to be a once in every 75 year thing that happens. And it's something to do with weather patterns. And it allows this area to flood every 75 years. But it's because there hasn't been that many people around that say, I was there the last time it happened, so I know that this is going to happen, that everybody saw all this water coming down and they've gone, oh my God, it's a miracle. Look, we've got water after all this time. No, you haven't, because 75 years ago, it did the same thing. They're just the first people to see it, and they think it's something new.
I think a lot of the legends about good and evil, angels, demons, all this sort of stuff, I think a lot of it was misconstrued thousands of years ago, and angels and demons were actually the warring factions of whatever, whether it was Anunnaki, whether it was different people, or whether they were precursors to us. But whoever it was, they were vastly superior to us, technology and everything, and they had a scrap. And us back then, because we were basically shitting in our hands and clapping, we looked at them and went, oh, Jesus, that's an angel. Oh, that one. Oh, that's a bad one. That's got to be a demon. And that's where that all came about. I think religion was completely
wrong. Meant to.
I don't want to upset religious people. So this is our opinion, not your opinion. Okay, if you're religious, we're not going to poo-poo it. But I will say I do think a lot, if not most, or if not all religion is misconstrued of what's actually there. I think that gods were real, but they're not gods. They're different. Yeah? That's about right, I think. What do you say? Unless, of course, you're Scientology, and then in that case, I would say, if you're Scientologist, that is your god.
Was that your credit card? Was that your credit card?
No, that was £20 notes. If you're a Scientologist, it's all about that. And if you're what was that Baptist guy over your way who bought himself a private jet and then went, well, it was on sale, and tried to justify it. Like, oh my
Satan?
God, it was on sale. Just why you have an account? No?
I think his name is Satan. You ever see any of his other videos?
He does.
Yeah.
He does look evil, though, doesn't he?
Have you seen
Who's
his
giving
eyes?
this guy money?
He's like,
I think he's giving it to him because they're scared.
I think the only reason why he looks like that is because he's had so much plastic surgery. They can't do anything without damaging his looks.
Eric, why did Mark sound like someone out of Monty Python? Well, there's lumps of it round the back. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a dead bloody parrot.
And he's not a naughty boy. He is a naughty boy. He's not the Messiah. I love those films, especially when you got the hermit who's been silent for 40 years, and he goes, "No, I will not shut the fuck up. Shh, they'll hear you. I don't fucking." Yeah. So anyway, so you guys out there watching us, you got any questions for us? Come on, bring them.
Give us your questions. We want them.
Toot toot, said Thomas.
I mean, the thing is, I've been looking, and Thoth
Yeah.
appears in just about every religion.
Right.
He does in different guises. It's do you,
Yep.
do you see what I mean when I said the gods are the bloody same in every culture, every
Yeah.
civilization? They just have a
Do you
different name.
think it's like Stargate? I asked you that before, where it's like multiple beings that can shapeshift that are just changing what they look like to,
Yeah.
you know, push their narrative. Because if you remember, like in Stargate, I believe it was like the Greys were like really tiny and frail, but they were making
That's right.
themselves
The-
look
the
like the
Andromeda,
Norse
yeah.
gods.
Yeah.
Every time they showed themselves to a human, and they looked like Thor.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And I think they were quite close to stuff. Guys, I'm gonna have to bugger off because I've got to be up in just over 4 hours because I've got to do an airport run. I'm really sorry to love you and leave you. I will be back for the rest of it all next week, but I'm gonna have to bugger off. But I'll leave you guys and everybody in the chat room yapping. Alistair Crowley, supposedly the most wickedest man on earth. Viv just said Alistair Crowley has a book of Thoth, however you say his name. But
So,
so I will
Mark-
see you guys next week.
Mark's now about to piss off.
I'm about to piff off. I say, Centurions, twike him waffly. So, do you know he has a wife? My friend, Biggest Dickus, has a wife, you know.
Biggest
Anyway.
dicketh.
Yeah, I will see you guys. I'll be.
Wee
putting stuff
Wodger.
up. I'll talk to you in a week, Wodger and Wadderwick. And I will see you back on the show next week, but I'll talk to you in a week anyway. So everybody else, thank you for joining us. Carry on listening to these two, and I'll see you soon. But yeah, I've got less than 4 hours sleep, so I'm out of here. Bye bye.
Good night.
Yeah, bye, Mark. Bye-bye. He's gone. Yeah, so I mean, it does. Unlike Lynn says, Thoth is the same god in different cultures, but a different name, and basically does come out as the same. You know, his
But there's
primary
always
role
little-
is the same.
There's almost little hints of him though, too. If you think about it. The Egyptian one, he's got the bird head. And then he goes to Greece, he's got feathers on his shoes.
Yeah,
So is
I mean,
bird.
they've even it's the ibis, head of an ibis, and apparently he has actually got a. There is a burial site for him as well. I'll try and find where it was now. Burial. Let's put in burial. I'll probably come back up again there. Yeah, they discovered an ancient necropolis holding the mummified remains of a high priest of the Egyptian god Thoth. The large cemetery was unearthed on a vast site on the edge of the desert near the Nile Valley city of Minya, south of the capital Cairo. And then underneath it says there, Minya Governorate, Egypt. Aram Online reports that the communal tombs of senior officials and high priests of the god Tehuti, otherwise known as Thoth, The god of knowledge, the moon, measurement, wisdom, and writing have been discovered in Upper Egypt in the necropolis of Kmun, at the Tuna El Gabal archaeological dig, and that was 4 years ago. So, I mean, obviously, we know that a lot of these deities were classed as gods after they died, don't they? That, you know, like the pharaohs while they're alive, and then once they've died, they then become gods, don't they? Some of these pharaohs. So it's a case then of actually looking at seeing whether Thoth, when he was in the physical, was he an actual pharaoh of Egypt that sort of impressed people that much that he became a god. Because in different religions, he has a different role and different names.
Right. I mean, but how did he cross over to so many different religions?
Well, exactly.
Being
I
an
mean,
immortal being.
if you look at the difference in beliefs between, say, Christianity and Buddhism, yet there are still similarities between the two religions, even though they're completely different religions. You know, there are key figures and key events within all religions that are all identical. Now, why? Because we know for the fact that human beings have been around a lot longer than Christianity.
Absolutely.
So, you know, most of the religions have all come along after humankind has evolved. We know that's fact. So we can't stand there and say, well, okay, the Bible states that God created the heavens and the earth, but then when you go back to the Sumerian texts, no, he didn't. It goes back a lot further than that. So it blows all that out the window. And I don't know. I just like Mark says, we don't have a dig at people's beliefs or religions, because that's the belief system you want to have. But there is more and more. There's more and more now out there to state that there is something other than what these religions were first coming out with, and that is why a lot of the books of these religious texts have been withheld from public eye. They don't want you seeing them because they know full well that, like Lynn says, there's no control there. Absolutely. And that was what religions were all about, was controlling the masses. And as soon as another religion comes along, it's then a fight between that control. Who controls who? And when you've got different land masses having different religions, you can control the masses a lot easier. But when you become a diverse society, it then gets harder to control, because there's so many different religions, so many different rules they want to follow, that there becomes this mangled mess, and it becomes harder to control. So, you know, it's like when you go into a court now, normally you would have been told to swear on the Bible. You'd have to put your hand on the Bible and swear to it. But you don't get that. You get a choice now. If you're not Christian, you don't need to put your hand on the Bible. You can put your hand on the Quran, or you can just come out with a different set of a promise that doesn't commit what you're going to say to a God. So, you know,
what do Scientologists use? Some of L. Ron Hubbard's, like The Day the Earth Stood Still.
The Encyclopedia of Ufology. I swear by the almighty TR3B that I will tell the truth. It does. You know, it does make you wonder. You know, but when you look back and you just go back further and further and further, you know, there was no God. There was no God around when Stonehenge was built. There was no one God when the Inca buildings were built and the Nazca lines were built in Machu Picchu, and in Peru. You know, all of these things didn't exist, but they had all this writing. So who taught them the writings? They got it from somewhere. They got the designs from the pyramids from somewhere, but all the pyramids are all based on the same thing all around the world. It's all based on the same design. So who come up with that clever idea? We do like the Book of Enoch, Lynn. This is the problem now. Mark's gone. You see, we can't get the comments up on the screen.
Do you have Goldschlager in by you guys?
Yep, Mark's got
Yeah.
Mark's the one that puts all the comments up. So,
Oh. Wait, do you
Yes.
have the alcohol Goldschlager in England? With the little
Not
plates
that
of
I've
gold that
heard
you
of.
can drink? No, never heard of that. We do over here, and it's got little, the whole thing is it's like, it tastes minty, but there's little flakes of gold. And I always wonder how the Anunnaki would feel about that. That we're like, we're literally just going to drink.
Goldschlager. Oh, it's a Swiss cinnamon schnapps.
Yup. Minty.
Ooh, I love cinnamon. Yeah, it's a Swiss cinnamon schnapps, a liquor with very thin yet visible flakes of gold floating in it. The actual what's that? The actual measurement. The amount of gold has been measured at approximately 13 milligrams in 1 litre bottle, and that amounts to 66 cents. No, 75 cents in the international gold market. So there you go. We do have every Christmas J2O, which is a fruit drink. They bring out one called Glitterberry, and it is literally like a purple fluid, a reddish purple fluid with this glitter in it, an edible glitter. And when you buy it, there's like this thick sediment at the bottom of the bottle, and you have to tip it up and shake it about to get it all to swirl around and mix up. And yeah, drink too much of that and then go to the bathroom. You soon know about it. But I wonder. Oh, do you know what? You got me going. I'm going to have to see. I reckon we can get it here in the UK. Goldschlager. Oh my God! You want to spell properly? Schlager. Oh, I can
But
get it on
every time
Amazon.
I've seen it, I was always like, I wonder how the Anunnaki would feel about that. If that whole theory's right about that's all, or if we had one job and we're drinking it now.
Yeah. We'll drink that. £23.52 a bottle on Amazon for a bottle. That's not bad.
No.
Might be tempted for Christmas. Right, Mark has sent us a link to something.
I just saw that.
What's this about? Joe Murgia. From what I understand, this is not true, especially when there's an anomalous alleged UAP crash retrieval program hidden below the prosaic program. And even if the anomalous program is found, good luck getting access. Admiral Wilson found this out the hard way in '97. After the crash retrieval program was almost outed in the past, a formal agreement was struck with Pentagon people to prevent this in future. Didn't want to repeat. Special criteria were established in agreement. Special circumstances that must meet rigorous access criteria set by contractor committee. No USG personnel were to gain access unless they met the criteria, to be administered by contract committee, irregardless of the tickets and position USG personnel possessed. Okay.
So is this like a a UN group that goes and recovers UFOs.
Yeah. By law, AARO may receive any UAP-related information at all levels of classification, regardless of special access requirements or whether it originated within the Department of Defense, the intelligence community, or any other USG department or agency. Oh, interesting. It was a nice little find. I'd never heard of Goldschlager, Sarah. I'm just shocked by that. I mean, I like, what is it? Oh, it's in the dark green bottle. Jägermeister.
Oh.
I'm yet to
Jaeger
try it
bombs,
warm.
huh?
I want to try. I don't worry about the Jaeger bomb itself. I just drink the Jägermeister on its own.
Not a flat black licorice. No.
That's nice.
20s.
Yeah, I do like the Jägermeister. I used to just have a bottle of it. So
I thought you were talking about absinthe at first. Can you get that by you guys?
no, I think absinthe was made illegal here. I'm sure it was.
Once in a while here, and then they made it legal again when I was.
I think it was because it was so potent.
That's because there's a hallucinogen in it called wormwood. Makes colors and stuff more brighter.
I like that. I'll put absinthe in and it's come up. Absinthe is a wonderfully organic software synthesizer for Macintosh and Windows computers. Maybe I should put absinthe a drink. The weird things you find on the internet. Oh, I would have hoped if I'd have spelled it right. I spelled it wrong. Here we go. Yeah, the original absinthe. Excellent lady drank them all for quality assurance purposes only. Yeah, absinthe is an anise flavored spirit derived from several plants, including the flowers and leaves of the Artemisia absinthium, grand wormwood. Together with green anise, sweet fennel, and other medicinal and culinary herbs, historically described as a highly alcoholic spirit, it's 45 to 74%, or 90 to 148%, 90 to 148 proof in the US. Absinthe traditionally has a natural green colour, but may also be colourless. It is commonly referred to in historic literature as Le Fée Verte, the green fairy, while sometimes casually referred to as a liqueur. Absinthe is not traditionally bottled with sugar or sweeteners. It is traditionally bottled at high level alcohol by volume, but is normally diluted with water before being consumed.
Yeah, here there's a special sort of spoon that comes with it. You put a sugar cube, and then you pour the absinthe, and then you light it on fire, and it turns like blue, green. Blow it out.
Yeah.
And take it.
Absinthe is often, it says here, absinthe has been often been portrayed as a dangerously addictive, psychoactive drug and hallucinogen. The chemical compound thujone, which is present in the spirit in trace amounts, was blamed for its alleged harmful effects. By 1915, absinthe had been banned in the United States and in much of Europe, including France, Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, and Austria-Hungary, yet it has not been demonstrated to be any more dangerous than ordinary spirits. Revival of absinthe began in the 1990s following the adoption of modern European Union food and beverage laws that removed long-standing barriers to its production and sale. By the early 21st century, nearly 200 brands of absinthe were being produced in a dozen countries, most notably in France, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Netherlands, Spain, and the Czech Republic. Yes, that's right, Eric. Sherlock Holmes used to drink absinthe in the stories. Probably actually sort of for story's sake, that probably actually gave him that sort of thinking ability to sort of try and solve his crimes or get myself completely stoned.
Let me
out,
hit the
mate.
flask. I'll
I
tell
think
you.
I think I've just worked out how Moriarty did the murder. Let me have another drink and just to confirm it. Okay, then, no problem. We'll see you next time. Oh yeah. So that's that one.
I got something that I saw on TikTok that I was going to bring up before Mark took off. Now I remembered it. There is a news piece going around right now that said there's a disease going around that is making people see people as demons. Pretty popular TikTok, but it kind of reminds me of that lady with the airplane. And then there was a guy in China who had the same thing happen to him.
They've been taking that zombie.
Basically, they're saying if you see somebody who looks strange and their eyes look different than yours and their mouth looks a different shape, it's just a disease that's going around that's curable. You're not seeing anything alien or monster.
But that's half the population. I can walk down my local high street and half the kids look like that anyway. You know, they're all like, stuck to their phones. You know, they've all got the disease. It's either that or on drugs, one of the two. It's certainly like that outside my son's school when the school finishes. They're all standing there, they're stuck to their phones straight away. They've been for that amount of time without their mobile phones. And as soon as they get out of school, it's like this. Oh, what's going on? What's happening in the world today?
Oh, same here.
And then to make it worse, the government put in a new highway code, right? That if somebody is waiting to cross a junction, so cross over the road in front of you when you get to a junction, you've got to give way to them. Even though you're the one in the car and they're on foot on a footpath waiting to cross the road that you paid to be on, you've got to give way to them.
Oh, it's like that everywhere, especially.
And I had an argument.
Always have the right of way.
I had an argument with someone because they turned around and went, "You're supposed to give way to me. I'm standing at a junction waiting to cross." I said, "But if you look at the highway code, dickhead, it says except for roundabouts. What's that on the road? Oh, it's a roundabout. So stay there, you dick." So
Like
shut him up. He just stood there, didn't know what to do with himself. I'm like, "Ugh. You're going to start standing there flouting the highway code at me. Please make sure you're saying it right before you do." And it clearly
so I can run your ass over.
I mean, it's like, you get done for jaywalking over there, don't you? Crossing the road, except for a right crossing. Is that what the jaywalking thing is?
Yeah, I honestly think the jaywalking thing is if a cop's like having a bad day and it's gonna be like, all right. You never see it happening.
We've never seen anything like that over here. We just cross the road wherever we feel like it, as long as we look first.
I don't know about anybody else, but with my town, you only see police at the gas station and in front of the coffee machines. All the cars always lined up.
They're all standing there waiting for their
safe and protected.
Waiting for their Krispy Kreme donuts and waiting for somebody to cross the road. It's like, oh, he's not on the crossing. Should we go nick him? Oh, my word. Yeah, there's something wrong in this world when you're doing that, isn't there?
I honestly don't feel like it's the same anymore here for police. I don't even see people getting pulled over like I used to ever since the whole defund the police thing happened. I feel like police are way more timid here in America.
I mean, we've had now some weird stuff going on over here with our local councils. Obviously, and it's like this all over the world. The councils get given X amount of pounds from the government to run the local councils for various things, and we've now got one council is now doing away with, I think, something like 26 crossing guards. But over here, we call them lollipop men or women. And they have this massive, great big stick with a big disc on the top that
Just for
tells
kids,
cars
right?
this is so the children can cross the road and get to school. And one particular council has decided they are going to stop paying for lollipop men and women to be crossing guards at schools.
Dude, that's nuts. I don't know if it's like it is here, but it's all retirees that do it. And I think they make like
Yeah, it
maybe
used to be.
like $10 an hour. Like they're clearly not doing it for an income. They're doing it because they enjoy the children. So to just take that even away.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a voluntary thing, and then obviously we had minimum wage come in. So anybody that even volunteered to do the job, they started to have to be paid. But it's only something like an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon. So they're only getting paid for 3 hours a day. And even if you say £10 an hour, it's £30 a day.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing. And if you look, the majority of the crossing guards that we have over here, you look at them, most of them are retired. They're doing it for a bit of extra top up on their pensions, you know. And now
the children in the morning.
Yeah, and now the local councils are turning around and saying, look, we want to save money, so we're going to stop paying them.
Somebody needs a new pool. That's what's going on.
Yeah. But the problem is we've got here a lot of our councils now are going bankrupt. I think it was Birmingham City Council had said that they were having issues with paying for certain things, and then they declared bankruptcy. And that's the I think it was a Labour Party run council. So when we've got our Bobberman coming out with a general election, and the Labour Party, which at the moment is the opposition party, are saying we're going to put money to this, we're going to put money to that, we're going to start this green policy, we're going to stick investment into this. If their own councils are going bankrupt, how can a party turn around and make promises when their own councils can't keep their heads above water? You couldn't, could you?
Here, it's they cover the issues when there's an election going, and then they're right out of their mind since they're elected. It's both. It pisses me off.
It is.
In so many stances, just with my local government here in Wisconsin. We have some major issues, like I was talking about. We've never had the immigrants like we have. We are literally the drunkest state in the nation. We should probably do something about that. There's people here that have like 6 DUIs. I know over there, I know in Germany, you get 1 DUI, you're done just driving for life. But in my state, you can get 6 before we like put you in prison.
I mean, yeah, I know over in when was it? I think a good few years back, I went for a weekend to Bremen in Germany, and I was talking to the coach driver that took us from the port into Bremen, and he had turned around to me and he said that their autobahn going from the port of Cuxhaven down to Bremen got these great big fences all the way down, and beautiful countryside, but the only way you can see it is if you're in a coach. You can't see the countryside if you're in the car because of these big fences. They've put these big 8-foot high fences in, so you're sitting in a car, you're not going to see the German countryside because you're too low down. And I said to him, who paid for those fences? Did the local councils pay for those fences? No, the EU did. So you had one country benefiting. They just turned around and said, look, we want to have X amount of million euros to build this fence along our autobahn. So they've gone, yeah, here's the money. Yet another country could ask for their money for something quite important, like building a new hospital to fight viral diseases or something. And the EU turns around and said, nah, it's not worth it. You take a run and jump. And yet the Germans were allowed to build this fence, you know. And he turned around to me and he said that on this freeway you can go whatever speed you like as long as you drive responsibly. So you could do 140 miles per hour down this autobahn straight past a police officer, and as long as you're
Right.
in a straight line and
I'm
not
familiar with
swerving
the
about
autobahns.
all over the road, they don't care. And I'm like, okay, over here we would have been arrested for that straight away.
Right here, you get shot.
Yeah. Twice the legal speed limit. They'll be doing a T-pack on you. If they'll shoot you if they haven't already T-packed you.
Did you see the video from over here of the cop hitting the undercover cop? And he gets swung around and he hits his front end and he just hits his lights and he gets out and he's just like, what the fuck, man? What was you doing?
I know I had seen on TikTok there was one police officer had pulled over another one, and he was on his way to work and he was in his car, his actual police car, and he pulled him over for speeding, and he hadn't got his lights on or anything, and he pulled him over and he asked him if he was answering a call, and he went no. He said, so why were you speeding? And he went, I'm on my way to work. He said, well, I'm still giving you a ticket. And the other cop drove off. He just even stop bothering me, I'm going to work, and he gets in his car and drives off. So the obviously the arresting officer has to call through to his radio operator and tell them that this officer was pulled over for speeding. He wasn't on call or anything. He's still going into work, and they had to arrest him and have him done for speeding when he got into the office. And you're like, why? And it just sort of proves the point that this world's going to pot, really, doesn't it?
My favorite ones are when they're harassing the black CIA agent, and he's like, man, you need to call your superior. He's like, I don't need to do anything, son. He's like, oh no. So now you need to call your superior right now. He hands him his wallet. He's like,
evening, Drew. He's like, I think you've got a problem, boy. I think sometimes, and it's the same all over the world, I think sometimes it's just the fact that the power that these officers are being given has got to their heads. And they think that with this power, they can do what they like when they like, and no one will batter an eyelid.
I always wondered with you guys, can the Royal Guard get away with whatever they want? Do they trump the police?
The who, sorry?
The Royal Guard. You know, the dudes in the red and the black marching around.
Right, with our military, if we have... It's difficult because our civilian police can get involved if, for instance, a group of guys from the local garrison go to town, they get drunk, they get involved in a fight. The civilian police can get involved, but then straight away they have to call the military police to come and take them away and then deal with them that way. Well, 9 times out of 10, they get away with it. They do get away with it. They get away with a lot more than civilians would. I only know that because obviously when I was in the RAF, we were told this. If we went into, while we were in recruit training, I was near the city of Lincoln in Lincolnshire, and we were told if we went into town at the weekend, into the city centre and got drunk, just watch what you're drinking. Don't get involved in any fights because we don't want the MPs getting called by the civilian police to come and pick you up and bring you back. And they were like, not that you're going to get done for it. So we're like, well, we get drunk, get involved in fights, break a window, get arrested by the civilian police, and then get sent back to our base and just get away with it. But they have had to knuckle down on it because now we don't get as many military personnel come into the town much now, because you could guarantee every weekend there would be fights here where the army lads would come into town, they'd have drinks, they'd start chatting to the girls, and the local lads wouldn't like it, and they would start picking fights with them. So next minute, you know, there'd be fights in the bar. The bar would, the bouncers would come along, kick them out. They'd then end up fighting outside. Then the police get involved. Then the MPs would turn up. Chaos.
Yes.
It's good fun, especially when you're trying to, when you're on a paranormal investigation in a hotel opposite, and it gets to 3 o'clock in the morning and all the nightclubs have started kicking out. We were all standing there in the window of this room watching what was going on down in the street. And there's literally hundreds of people coming out of this building. And within minutes, there was a young girl trying to beat up a taxi. Not a taxi driver, a taxi. She was kicking it. She was punching the wing mirrors. Poor taxi driver sitting there going, what's going on? Next minute, you know, there's about 4 or 5 lads outside the club fighting each other. The bouncers have come out from outside the club and they've started to try and break it up. Absolute chaos. But this happens everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we get it all over the place now. And
Sounds like a Friday night in Green Bay.
yeah, well, I mean, we had a TV show that actually showed what was going on in Colchester city centre. And they made Colchester look like a really bad place to go. And I'm like, it's no different than anywhere else in the United Kingdom. Any major town or city has the same problems, regardless of where it is. And it, you know, whether it's in the UK or whether it's abroad, a lot of these places where alcohol's involved, there's always going to be those same problems. And they just portrayed our city in a bad light and made us all look like a bunch of thugs. But Colchester is North Essex, and we're quite we're more posh up here. We're well spoken. But yeah, so well, I think we've managed to last until 10 to 11, which isn't bad.
What we were talking about last week, I'm going to throw one more topic out there. We talked about a little bit. I heard Jake Paul's actually trying to get out of the fight now.
Oh, what a surprise!
Right?
Is it because he's seen Mike Tyson training and gone, do I really want to go against him?
I saw a statement. I don't know how true it is because it was TikTok, but apparently Mike Tyson was like, to all of us, is like, first off, I was a heavyweight champion how many times of the world? I'm not broke. I don't need his money. I'm not old. And I want to teach him that WWE is the place for him. He doesn't belong in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. So it's like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to put WWE and boxing side by side, there is a clear difference between the two.
Yeah.
One is for professional athletes and one is for dancers. That's it. Circus clowns and serious athletes. Boxers and WWE. Because as far as I'm concerned, WWE is very well choreographed playing up.
Absolutely. And it's not even the way it was back when I was a kid. They were at least spitting out blood and had razor blades in their mouths and actually beat on each other. And McFoley almost paralyzing himself how many times? It's changed.
Yeah. You used to see him like hell in a cage where they'd jump from the top thing and the thingy and they'd end up breaking their leg in 3 places and stuff like that. Or you'd see the legs breaking when they hit the canvas and things like that. You don't get that no more, simply because it's so well choreographed by stunt coordinators that no one really truly gets injured.
It's the profit too. Look at how much money is made with boxing compared. When
you look at WWE and how much money is involved with things like WrestleMania and all of that, and yes, with boxing, you know, you can walk into a bookies and place a bet on who is going to win that fight. You can then be specific on what round that person's going to get knocked out in. You know, and obviously if you've got that, you know, you could say Tyson will win, and when Tyson wins, you get a certain amount. But if you were to turn around and say Tyson to win in the second round, the amount you got paid back as winning would be a lot higher because your odds are better. But you can't do that with wrestling because there isn't a system set up for it because everybody knows it's for entertainment. And it's unfortunately, I think wrestling's lost its touch. It's lost its way, even with British wrestling when we had it here.
I would like to see the luchadors once. Like if I ever go to Mexico, I think there might be actually something to that.
Yeah, and we were saying last week about bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok yesterday, and it reminded me of what we said last week about bare knuckle fighting. And it was two British guys, bare knuckle fighting, and it was a proper set up league here in the UK, and they were bare knuckle fighting. And I only watched about 30 seconds of it, and I skipped. I'm like, I can't watch no more of this. This is boring. So I flicked it.
It didn't last long though. Them fights usually go about 2-3 minutes long, and it's.
I got 30 seconds into it, and all you could hear was like that. That's all you could hear, slapping each other, and I'm like, nah, I can't be bothered to watch this. So I stopped watching it. It is what it is. But,
bloody.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Without boxing gloves, you're gonna split your face
and your hands. I feel like a lot of the blood comes from the hands too.
Yeah, well, you got a thin layer of skin, haven't you, around the knuckles? So
yeah, some of them wrap them, but that tape. I mean, I used to be really into boxing, and when you're wearing your tape, it's not protection. It's the cushion. No. It's the cushion.
And you would have to use quite a lot of it. You'd have to use quite a lot of it to actually protect your knuckles enough.
Well, it don't come like that. It just comes in a roll, and once that roll is done, there's Velcro at the top. So it's not like you can just.
That's when I saw them wearing the tape around their hands. I half expected them to put their hands in tree sap and then broken glass. I'm like, yeah, go for it. That would be a real fight.
40 style boxing.
Into kickboxer mode. Into the old tree sap and then the broken glass. Tongpo, come on then. Oh, that would be funny.
I did not catch the fight, but over the weekend, a fighter, I believe it was the UFC circuit, completely ruined his life in 10 seconds. He got taken down, and his opponent clearly knew BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he took a chunk out of his arm. Fight got stopped. He got told by his manager that he was fired. He's done. All marking sites is done. You're just done with the sport. And I don't know why. Like, I've never been in.
If he'd have gone for his opponent's ear, would he have got away with it?
By you guys?
No, did he bite a chunk out of the other guy's arm?
Yeah, right out of his shoulder.
So if he'd have gone for the other guy's ear instead, would he have got away with it and kept his career?
No, it didn't work for Tyson when he did that either. If you look up the videos, there's the Vegas police storming the stage when he does that.
Right.
One of the times he's more scarier because all them cops have his guns up and he's got his boxing gloves up. It's like, come on!
Yeah, a boxing glove against a gun. I wonder
still,
what would
to be
win.
to be like 1994 and to be a cop, overweight cop in Vegas, be like, son of a bitch. I just wanted to, you know what I mean? Why we come here to watch these fights, not intervene.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
He actually has THC gummies out that are shaped like ears. No joke. They're his brand, Mike Tyson's.
Yeah.
They're little THC gummies. I just saw an ad on TikTok, but they're shaped like ears.
I must admit, though, after that incident, there were a lot of jokes about
he rolled with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bit of a weird one. I mean, I can't even remember why he said he
He
did it.
said if Holyfield had too much gloss on his face, or so like none of his all of his punches were just sliding off his face, and it was on apparently hardcore Tyson's fans say it was also on the top of his head, which in boxing you don't grease your head, so all of his punches were just sliding off Holyfield's face, and it pissed Tyson off.
So he bit his ear.
Yeah, he's like, well, if I'm
Was
not going to win this fight, you're not going to win this fight.
I reckon so basically he was just taste testing Holyfield's ear just to see whether it was greased up or not.
Yeah, basically
Let's
that's what he
double
said,
check.
and then he used some bullshit excuse like in the court that yeah, when I went after police too, I was in fight mode. I tasted that blood and everything was just red. That was literally his excuse for like resisting arrest.
Well, we have got to 11 o'clock,
Awesome.
and that would also mean that it's time for us to depart. So
Pleasure, everybody.
it has been lovely speaking to everybody tonight, and it's lovely to have had you on with us again, Josh.
No problem.
I'm not too sure what Dan and Viv are up to tomorrow night. I'm sure they are up to something, or I hope they are. I don't know. I can't remember. And then Wednesday, I know Thursday night we have the To the Grave and Back with Lois, Nick Moulet, Rosie, and myself. And then Friday night we have the Friday Night Frighteners, which is another sort of an end to the week madness session. So that's always worth a watch. And then we have the good old weekend again. I'm off out Saturday night investigating a World War II coastal air defence fort here in Essex. So I'm going to be enjoying that because it's back out again filming for the next season of Truth Beyond Paranormal. And so, yeah, that's all fun.
Is that the one with the moat?
No, that one is Harrods Redoubt Fort, which is just down the road. That was built in 1810 as a coastal defence emplacement for the Napoleonic Wars. The one we're going to is just a little bit further down the road, and that's got a lot of the main air cannons and the anti-aircraft cannons even.
That's cool.
And a couple of the big sea defence cannons are there as well. And the guys only just recently opened it back up again and cleared all of that. It was just left to overgrow, basically, but someone's obviously seen that it's worth restoring and the history of it and everything else. So he gets people to come in and help out. And then at the weekends, us paranormal nuts go in there and go and investigate. And it's a really good location. It does a couple of scary moments there in the past. So I'm hoping it will repeat itself Saturday night.
I need to start investigating again. I just don't even know where anymore in Wisconsin. We have a sanitarium here in my hometown, which is about an hour or two away from where I am. But they're charging $1,000 for 10 people to investigate.
Oh, my word.
And they're calling it an insane asylum. And I'm like, do the damn history. It's even scarier than what you guys are advertising. And it was a sanitarium when everybody had TB.
I think that's part of the problem is you get groups that go out there and they make out these places or their live videos are actually worse than they actually are. You know, they stand there and go, oh, we've got such and such going on here. And then when you look at it, you're like, no, you haven't. It's never anywhere near as bad as what they state. They're just doing it to actually get you to watch what they're doing.
Exactly. That's what these people are doing too. And it's like, it bugs me because I'm like, if you actually dug into the historical records, it's literally, I feel like a sanitarium is way worse than an insane asylum because like there's a chance you're gonna eventually get out of a sane asylum, sanitary,
Yeah.
and they're just like, well,
That's it.
here's a hospice for all of you. We don't have a spot, so here's this big building.
And also, you had a point where, at one point in history, when they were actually experimenting on people, doing experimental lobotomies and things like that, which, you know, if you had one of those, there was no way you were going anywhere.
Right.
So, you know, there is a big difference. And then I've got some news about a new project that I have started called Wayne's Weird and Wonderful World. Facebook group is now up and running. I've already started the first episode, and it's looking pretty good. And it's just about weird and wacky things from around the world that people may not necessarily know much about, but I think people should know about. So I'm going to put the link to the group in the comments below. So if anybody fancies popping along and saying hi and whatnot and joining in the episodes when they come out, then feel free to join us. It's going to be quite an interesting group, I think.
Yeah, I was in the first one. It was fun.
Well, I like the weird and wacky, and I've decided how I'm going to do this one is, instead of having, say, like an hour-long episode where it's going to be about six or seven different subjects in that one show, I'm just going to do, I'm going to edit episodes about one specific thing. So it could be about the rainbow eucalyptus tree. I will find out as much information about that as I can find, and I will make an episode out of it. And then I'm going to put it onto the Facebook group either as a live pre-record or just post the actual episode on there. I think I may do it as a live pre-record, because then I can interact with people as the live is being aired.
That's how I always do it.
So I'm looking forward to that, because it's been something I've been wanting to do for a couple of years now and never got round to doing it properly. So I decided now's the time. So anyway, it's now going past my bedtime. That's all right for you, Josh, because it's still early evening there.
Yeah, it's only 6, but I can hear my children screaming, so
we're all going to
Mrs. needs me back.
yeah. We're going to bid you farewell for this week, and as Mark would say, keep your eyes to the skies, and if not, bury them in pies. I had to make a poem out of it for some reason. So enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next week with some more weirdness and UFOist stuff. See you all soon. See you later, Josh, because obviously Mark's in control of it. So I will see you.
Catch you later.
I'll see you at some other point. Good night, all. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.